In this video, we will take an exclusive look at the build progress of hull number 1 of the Archipelago 47, an explorer catamaran that offers a range of 3,000 nautical miles and a speed of up to 30 knots. Make sure you stay tuned because at the end of the video, I sit down and chat with Stephen Weatherly, the founder and CEO of the company behind this very exciting catamaran explorer yacht. And during our interview, Stephen talks about a special offer that will be available on the first few hulls of this incredible boat. But before we get started, please do not forget to take 2 seconds to subscribe to my channel, as 85% of the people who watch this will forget to. Only meters away from this grade 2 listed hammerhead crane is a boat shed that houses hull number 1 of the Archipelago 47. Between 1912 to the end of World War I, this crane helped to build 2 gunboats, 3 submarines and more than 20 destroyers and escort ships. But now, 110 years later, this magnificent structure looks on as hull number 1 of a state-of-the-art explorer catamaran takes shape only meters away. The inspiration for the 47 came when Stephen, who currently owns a Mitchell 31, decided that he wanted to get a bigger boat. He wanted a catamaran that could not only be used for high-speed day trips, but one that could also, if he wanted to, take him and his family across oceans. Many yachts in the sub 50 foot range, which come with a high level of seakeeping ability, can be basic and functional, and can lack the luxury feel of a family cruiser. The Archipelago 47 changes this. The yacht flawlessly matches the functionality of an offshore cruiser with easily accessible and serviceable systems, with the homely feel of a family cruiser. As Stephen employed this mindset from the start, his company can offer exceptional features that allow you to cruise for longer whilst still maintaining comfort and with a peace of mind that is essential for anyone who wants to embark upon long distance journeys. There will even be a large trampoline net slung between the 2 forward hulls for the owner and his or her guests to enjoy some time lounging in the sun. This explorer yacht will be able to sleep up to 8 people in 4 separate cabins, and since this boat is made of aluminium, owners can sit down with Stephen and his team and talk about different levels of customization which you would not get with a steel or GRP hulled vessel. Another really important feature of this yacht is the fact that it is wheelchair accessible as standard. Join me now as we take a look inside this fascinating boat, starting from the large cockpit. The first hull will be powered by twin 420 horsepower Iveco diesels on straight shafts running in half tunnels. 2 fuel tanks, one in each hull, will hold 3,000 litres of fuel, giving an expected ocean crossing range of 3,000 nautical miles at 8 knots. Inside, starting with the saloon, we get a sense of how this explorer yacht will feel once her build has been completed, with indirect lighting helping to create a warm and cosy feel. The helm station will be located on the port side of the vessel. Most family cruisers are impractical during the winter months because they have not thought through this simple issue: light. You cannot safely navigate from a brightly lit helm station. This boat features a unique saloon divide which allows the helm to navigate the boat from a dark, well-equipped wheelhouse safely, whilst family and friends can enjoy a warm lounge environment with underfloor heating, AV and galley to keep them entertained and cosy on the coldest winter nights. Let us now take a look inside the port hull, which on this boat will be the owner's suite. As we look to starboard, we can see an area that will be used as an office, which being in the master suite will mean that the owner can catch up with emails in peace and quiet. Here there will be an access point to the electronics on the helm, and forward is where we find the en-suite. As we look forward, it is important to point out that these pieces of aluminium on either side will be removed, so this area will be wider than it currently looks. As mentioned before, there is a high degree of customization available, and the owner can adapt the layout according to their needs. As we walk towards where the double bed will be in the owner's cabin, even glancing at the cabling gives us an idea of just how well built this boat will be. The next area I want to show you is inside the starboard engine room. A variety of different propulsion options will be available, including hybrid and electric, depending on the owner's preferences and requirements. I cannot emphasize enough just how much space there is in here. Next, let us take a look at just how much space there will be above the wheelhouse and saloon. On this hull, this area will have a roof rack on it, which will be great for carrying mountain bikes, paddle boards, canoes or anything else that you want to use for exploring once you reach your destination. But Stephen told me that if an owner wanted to, then a crane could be fitted on the aft section, which of course would be used to launch the boat's tender. Also, I love these two hatches. You can just imagine the view from inside when you are crossing an ocean at night as you peer up to a star-filled sky. These forward-raking windows really adds to the vessel's sense of open ocean, seagoing capabilities, and echo her commercial styling that is reflective of the type of vessels the naval architect on this project, Chartwell Marine, a firm whose primary area of expertise is power cats for the offshore wind farm industry, is used to designing. But let us not forget that this will be a luxury yacht, and the handmade cabinetry with its bespoke detailing, such as these dovetails, acts as a reminder that any lucky owner will have a handcrafted explorer yacht. And it was great to see these highly skilled craftsmen from Sea Lion Services turning the owner's dreams and vision into something tangible. Archipelago offers its clients a selection of handmade, high quality interior finishes. But now let us hear from the man himself, the visionary who is behind this game-changing, long-range, high-speed catamaran explorer yacht. Stephen, thanks for having me here today. It has been an absolute honour and a privilege to see hull number one coming together, and what an exciting time for you as well. Do you want to tell the viewers a little bit about how you got to start up your own boat building business?
Yeah, so I mean, I've had boats in the family all my life, from small little cabin cruisers through to sailing boats. I owned a Contessa 32 for a long time. I love sailing, and for about the past 10 years I've had a workboat, a Mitchell 31, which I've used for fishing and taking the family out. And about 2 years ago, my father unfortunately died. I had the boat with him and we used to spend a lot of time on it together, and that made me sort of rethink my boating and what I wanted to do with it, and I started looking around for a boat that could take me, family, friends out, but that could also do a bit more, go further, see more things, you know, have more fun and adventures on it.
Yeah.
And I couldn't actually find anything in the marketplace that I wanted, so my requirements were really, I wanted at some point to be able to cross an ocean, maybe go up to see the Northern Lights, go to Norway, to explore further afield.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of boats out there that can do that, but there aren't a lot of boats that can do that and also go for a quick trip out into the Solent at 25 knots, just for a day, to the beach, do a bit of fishing and come back.
Yeah.
And so I wanted something that could do both of those things. I realised there wasn't anything on the market, and I thought, do you know what? I'm not getting any younger. I'd love to do this and start a business and work in the marine industry. So that's how Archipelago was formed, really.
And how did you find the other stakeholders that you're working with now? How did you go through the process of deciding, right, I need to speak to these people about that and these people about this? Where did you start?
So I approached a number of naval architects in the UK and overseas actually, and I was absolutely blown away by my naval architects. There's a company called Chartwell Marine, and they produced for me almost sort of after our first conversation, they produced some initial designs for what has now turned into the Archipelago, and I was so I guess blown away by their design and what they came up with and their enthusiasm and their prestige around building workboats and wind farm vessels, that it was a sort of natural partnership. And so I've worked with them for the last year and a half to design the boat, and so they're a fantastic member of the team. And then through their work with various yards and various fit-out companies, I'm working with a company called Sea Lion Services, who are doing all of our interior. They're very used to working both on the commercial side and on super yachts. And it's really important to me, as we discussed earlier, what we're trying to do with Archipelago is have a boat that has that heritage, that quality of build that you get in a workboat, something that you're very happy to take to sea. You're going to be safe, you're going to get home in whatever the weather, but also something where your family and friends feel comfortable relaxing. So it's sort of a blend between the two, that almost that super yacht luxury where you feel at home, nice comfortable sofas, blended with the strength and rigidity and build quality of a workboat.
I think that's one of the things that really stuck out to me, is that you've created a boat that will be just as happy going out for the day, cruising on like 25 knots, for half a day, for a whole day, and you've also got a boat that will cross the Atlantic. I think that is such a unique proposition for somebody who's sitting there thinking, I want a boat that I can take out literally for a day, but I also want a boat where if I want to take a few weeks or a few months out, I can use that same boat as well without having to get another boat as well. And I think the way you've managed to kind of marry those two blends of different uses of boats together is fascinating. Going back as well, so when you approached a naval architect, did you have a vision already of what you wanted the boat to look like? Or, in terms of when you look at it, the forward-raking windows and how it looks very business-like at the same time as looking like a very capable ocean-crossing yacht. Did you sit down with some sketches first and then show them to your naval architect, or did you sit down and talk together about how you wanted the end product to look? How did that process start?
No, it looked nothing like I wanted it. I
really?
expected it to look. Right. So I had some sketches in my mind, and I'd written some stuff down. When I approached the architects, what they came back with was so much better than what I had sketched. I was like, well, this is why you go to professionals to do it, right?
Absolutely.
So I've always loved the forward-raking windows, and we sort of discussed integrating that, and that's why we've got that. I think it sort of harks back to that lifeboat heritage that I've grown up with, and naval vessels and things, and I think it looks business-like. But the rest of the design was completely different to what I had sketched in my mind. My sketches were so much more, I guess, traditional, and they've come up with something which is much more angular, almost aggressive in a way, but modern, and they're just sort of pushing the boundaries a little bit, and I think it looks fantastic.
It does. I mean, it is a phenomenal looking boat. I can't wait to see it in the water. Obviously not as much as you, probably can't wait, but I can't wait to see it launched. And you're going to be at the Southampton Boat Show. I'll be there as well, do a little bit of filming on board. And it's amazing as well to see it, how it is today and how it's going to be in literally 6 weeks' time, the transformation process.
Tell me about it.
And what would you say has been the most stressful part of the process so far, would you say? The thing that has really sucked all of your emotional energy?
I think like a lot of new businesses, these things they go quicker than sometimes you can keep up. And I think the most emotional energy for me is just that I'm really passionate about the product that we're creating, and I think it's going to be a fantastic boat. I think it's going to look amazing at the boat show. But I put myself and all the guys around me, we're all under a lot of pressure to get it there. I formed the company back in January, February last year. So actually from that point to getting a boat in the Southampton Boat Show, it's been, we've been running at full pelt all the way. And I think to get it there, to have it there, to make it look beautiful, which it will, it's going to be an amazing achievement. But it hasn't been without its sleepless nights and all of those things, but it's just to have it there will be a fantastic.
It'll be worth it in the end. I think that's the thing, that moment when the hulls hit the water for the first time and the engines power up. The last 18 months will all be worth it. Okay, Stephen, so some of my channel members have submitted some questions that they'd like me to ask you. So if it's okay with you, we'll go through these in a quick fire fashion. So
test.
Exactly. So question number one is, how is a 3,000 nautical mile range vessel possible on a boat that is under 50 foot?
Okay, so Chartwell Marine, who are the naval architects, have we've extensively tank tested that hull form. We know it's a very efficient hull form. We've also done some computational fluid dynamics on it. And we expect that at displacement speeds, we can roughly get 1 nautical mile per litre out of the boat. Obviously tank size is optional depending on how you're going to use the boat, but you can fit up to 2,000, possibly 2,500 litres per side in the boat, which gives you, that sort of range, with some assumptions that you might be doing some of it a little bit faster than properly slow displacement speeds. So we think it's easily possible that you'll be able to do 3,000 miles in it.
Okay, question number two is, why aluminium? What made you go for that material?
So two main reasons. One is sustainability. Aluminium is a really sustainable material, and that's important to me and the company. It's also the material that the naval architects are very familiar with building in aluminium, so it sort of naturally worked together well. The second is, being honest, it's cost and barrier to entry. So if you're making a fiberglass boat, you have to make a mould, you have to do all of that, you have to spend the money up front to build a mould for the boat. And then once you've made that mould, you don't get the flexibility of changing things that people might want on the boat, because you have a mould, you have to stick to that shape. Whereas we know that if we want to tweak things, if people want slight changes, we can do that in aluminium, no problem at all, because we can just change the kit.
Which makes perfect sense. Question number three is, what sorts of weather conditions would you be happy taking her out in? So hole number one, when she's finished, you've got a weather forecast, it's for rough weather. What's the upper limit do you think you'd be happy to take her out in?
I think it's quite hot sunshine, flat sea, gin and tonic, that's the ideal. I think it's difficult to put a sort of number on it. My view is it's an ocean crossing vessel. We've built some I think great features into it, such as the wheelhouse can be divided off from the saloon. That means you can go out at night, no problem at all, which is quite rare for a boat of this sort of use profile, because normally the saloon is integral with the wheelhouse. If you've got your kids in the back playing their iPads, that's really hard to then take the boat out at night. We're definitely going to be doing some great sea trials out by the Needles in some rough weather when she's built. I won't have any qualms about taking her out. She's built extremely well, and the way the architects have designed the hulls, she'll pierce through the waves, she'll be extremely stable. She's got buoyancy tanks built in, so if there was a problem at any point, there's buoyancy in the hull, built into the structure, so that gives you that extra sense of security. So I like going out in rough weather.
Me too. This is something we were talking about earlier on. We've both got a passion for going out in rough weather, which is why you've got a Mitchell now. I mean, let's face it, that's what that boat is designed for.
Exactly. So I think it's going to be great when we do sea trials. I think it's going to be fun. Certainly to bring guys like you out, get some footage, see how she performs. I think it's going to be an amazing boat.
And I look forward to crossing the Atlantic with you on the first voyage and hurricane force winds.
Nice.
So next question is, what are the advantages of a catamaran versus a monohull?
So for me, I think once again that almost conveniently divides into two. I like a catamaran because it gives you, for your family and friends, it gives you stability, it gives you the ability to have some space. You know, you can have one hull for yourself as an owner, and the other hulls can be divided up for family and friends, and it gives you that extra feeling of space. It lays that anchor. If you want to anchor off a beach, it lays an anchor so much nicer than a monohull, because you don't get that, you know, inevitable sloshing around that you can get with a monohull.
Yeah.
And the second reason is efficiency. Catamarans are very efficient hull form if you do them correctly.
Yeah.
And therefore you can go further with the same hull. So I think naturally that's why I sort of went towards a catamaran as a design.
No, excellent. Next question is, how customisable is the boat?
Very. From my perspective, I wanted to start a company that offers a bespoke service to people. No one's boating needs are the same.
Yeah.
You know, overall, we want the boat to do the same thing, which is a flexible platform that allows you to take your boating further, as well as going out for fun in the sun.
Yeah.
But in terms of that finish, whatever woods you want to use, the colours, the layout of the cabins, do you have 4 cabins, do you just have 2 cabins? It's all completely customisable and included in the sort of price of the boat.
Wow, that's incredible. Next question is, will there be any different sizes available in the future?
Yeah, so at the moment we are designing the 38, which is going to be a really cool little boat actually.
Wow.
Probably that will be powered by outboards.
Yeah.
So that gives us a lot more space in the hulls. If we have outboards on the back, diesel outboards probably at first, but with a look to with an eye to going towards hybrid power in the future. And then the 56, which is also being designed, which is going to be an absolute beast. So it's the same shape, but stretched in a few different directions, and it will look. I mean, I've obviously seen the renders of it.
Yeah.
It looks amazing. So that'll be a really cool boat. The 56.
Wow, I can't wait to see that. Can't wait to see that. And the final question from our channel members is: are there any plans for a solar-powered catamaran in the future?
Yeah, so that is an interesting question. I think there's a lot of hype in the media and in the industry about what electricity can do on boats. If we're honest, it's still not there. You know, it's very difficult to go anywhere either long distance or at speed with pure electric power, either solar or battery. What we are absolutely looking at is how do we make the boat more efficient with a smaller carbon footprint. What we're doing at the moment is working with the naval architects to probably move towards fuel cells and methanol powered fuel cells. That will allow us to have basically a zero carbon footprint, but much longer range than you would get with electric. But we are offering the option with the 47, and it will be with the other 2 as well, that if people want to have an electric version, we can do that. We've designed it such that it can take electric motors and it can take hybrid. So it's really about that use profile. As I say, it's a bespoke boat, and it's about that use profile. What do people want to do with it? If they're doing short hops between harbours, fantastic, let's make it electric. If they're doing much longer passages, depending on latitude and things, if they're up north, it's going to be very hard with solar. If they're in the Mediterranean, you can get a lot of power.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're open to making it as, I guess, as tuned to the user as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know my viewers will shoot me if I don't ask. And in terms of pricing, what kind of price point are you looking at?
So the initial boats, so we've always said that the first 5 boats will be priced low. So we're offering a price of 900,000 for a complete boat.
Wow.
So I think that's very good value for money. That's a 47-foot boat. £900,000 base price for that. That's for the first 5. We've sold number 2, so that's the next 3, and then next year the price will rise. We don't know quite what to yet. I wouldn't want to put the price out.
No, absolutely, because that holds you to it.
Exactly, but certainly the next 3 that are available at 900,000 GBP.
Which I think for a boat that can cross oceans you know, 3,000 nautical miles, take your family with you, that kind of price, I think is just phenomenal value for money.
Yeah.
So
I've always wanted. It's great to make money. That's an important part of owning a company, and because it allows the company to grow and be better. But I've always wanted to make sure that the boats that we build are accessible, not just to the ultra rich.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think, you know, boating's an amazing experience for anyone, and we want to make that as accessible as we can. Yeah, and that really comes across.
It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. If anyone's interested in finding out more, I'll leave a link, your contact details in the video description, so they can contact you directly. And I look forward to seeing you at the Southampton Boat Show.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much, John.
Thanks for watching. If you want to find out more about this amazing vessel, then I'll leave a link in the video description. Please don't forget to give this video a like, because it means that more people on YouTube will get to see it. Also, don't forget to check out my other videos and playlists. Until next time, fair winds and following seas.